Hi, I am back with Chris Titcomb with Hive Roofing and Solar, and this time we're talking about it's a public service announcement actually.
I love those. That's
that's like the start.
I spend my whole day. Yeah.
The more you know.
Hive public. So yeah, more you know. Hive PSAs.
So the reason we're going to talk about this is because I have a client who is really taken advantage of.
I hate hearing these stories.
Oh, it's so terrible. So, elderly woman got hit by a hailstorm. All roofers come from. I swear, everywhere.
Yeah. The Dakotas. Even.
Yeah, they just like it's a swarm. So somebody came. They offered her money back if they could put a sign in her yard. We'll come back to that.
Okay.
But so they came. They essentially did her roof. Then later, I meet her. I become the listing agent to sell her property. I had the roof checked because I could just see from the ground, just visually, I was like, something looks off here. And so I had the roof checked. Sure enough, the roof had been put on wrong. It had been installed wrong and it was already shot. It was 2 years old.
Wow.
2 years old. And so this woman did not have extra money. Insurance would not cover it because they'd already paid for it once.
Exactly.
And so she was in a real pickle. So
that's terrible. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about, number one, choosing a roofer? How do you know it's a reputable roofer? Like, what are some red flags? What should you be asking?
Yeah. So the easiest red flags on the first two questions to ask is one, RCAT. We're in the state of Texas, Roofing Contractors Association of Texas. Okay. That is the licensing body for roofing profession in the state of Texas. It is not government mandated that you have a license to do roofing. So if you wanted to go get your hammer and nails, you could be a roofer right now. And so that is the problem. So not only do you have, again, people from other states that have different level of experience and code and requirements, it's not required. There's no minimum competency that anyone has to prove legally to provide roofing services.
Okay, but what's the question? Am I just saying?
Right. Can I see your, show me that you're RCAT licensed? And quite frankly, and this is something that maybe we could put on your website, there's a link. Okay. You can go to RCAT. I don't have we'll get you the exact website, but essentially you go to rcat.com and you type in the roofer's name and it'll tell you license.
Okay.
And it's that simple. So that is sort of the first standard.
Okay.
Again, there are so many, only 4% of roofers in Texas generally have that.
4%?
4%. Yeah, it's voluntary. You have to pay for it. You're inviting scrutiny, audits and inspections. So again, you're putting yourself under the spotlight. And so if you're not squeaky clean, you're not doing everything, to code and better, quite frankly, most contractors, just want to operate out the back of their truck and, do it as a side hobby or whatever have you and make a quick buck when there's a hailstorm. They're not going to match up to that. And they're not staying on top of, legal adjustments and code and changes and best practice.
Okay.
So again, that's the first one. That's the easiest one.
So number one,
that filters out 96% of the trash.
Okay, got it.
Go onto rcat.com, check for their license. The next thing is that your roofer, your project manager, whoever is actually helping you is Hague Engineer Certified.
Okay.
Hague, it's HAAG.
Okay.
That's the engineering group that a lot of building code is based upon. These are like super house weather damage nerd engineers, and all they do is assess building structures, materials, and they do all sorts of tests. They fire bullets at roofs and stuff to see how strong shingles are. They have a certification, and whoever is managing your project, who's inspecting your home, again, on your behalf, inspecting your roof, whatever it is, you want them to have that. And so that, again, they can, one, tell you if it's even worth you filing a claim and what to expect. And then this kind of gets into the sort of third red flag is that person should be there advocating for you against your insurance company. Yeah. And so I think that's the big thing. That's probably the biggest PSA is obviously, one, know how to screen for a roofer, but no, despite their advertising, insurance companies are not a good neighbor. They're not your best friend. All that, all the slogans and stuff. The insurance company in this situation, again, you're on the opposite side of a transaction. You wouldn't go into court.
Right, without an attorney.
Without your attorney.
Yeah.
And what most people actually, when they're in this situation, again, because they don't know how to screen for a roofer and contractors have a reputation for being dodgy or whatever have you, they trust this again.
Well, we trust our insurance company.
We trust your insurance company.
You don't hire them because you don't hire them so that they don't show up when you need them the most. You hire them because you think they will show up.
Exactly.
So of course,
and you're in a financial agreement where they are going to do their best to not pay you, you know, unless they have to, right?
Unless their adjuster deems it necessary.
Unless, again, it has to be proven that they are legally obligated under your policy agreement to pay. They're not a charity. You know, again, they want to give you all the warm and fuzzies in advertisements, but when it comes down to it, they are on the other side. You wouldn't have the person you're going to court against, you wouldn't use their lawyer to protect your interest.
Right.
And that's what most people...
It's the same in real estate.
Yeah, and that's what most people do. You need your own lawyer. And so that's what we do. That's what we do for our clients is we advocate for them. And so when the insurance company sends their inspector or adjuster out, we're there to advocate for the homeowner and say, hey, don't miss this, don't miss this, don't miss this. Yeah. Because again, it's not in their interest to be thorough.
And something to point out is when we have our hailstorms or severe weather, something like that, and it does mean that a roof needs to be repaired, replaced, you guys aren't just looking at the roof.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. You're pointing out all sorts of things.
Exactly. There's a lot of other things. And so that's another thing to look for is your roofer contractors. Well, what do they know about the entire contract? Right. So again, in the most recent storm, what we've found is a lot of people aren't getting their siding replaced. And the siding is almost as important as the roof. I mean, water comes in the side. It's a opportunity for water and moisture to get into your home. And that's terrible. And the roofers are just like, oh, roof, quick and easy. And they ignore the siding. And again, you have insurance companies, again, because they're often not Hague certified. They don't know how to present the case for the siding. And, just the way it works, insurance companies usually underestimate what it costs to replace siding. Just as a but being able to go back to them and have that conversation. And again, that gets into sort of the third thing that you should look for. And this presents itself in a number of ways. Often your contractors will provide bids. And so providing a bid on an insurance when there's an insurance claim, that's a major red flag. And so a lot of homeowners, again, this is the way things used to be. There was a law passed in 2019, September of 2019. It's known as the Texas Deductible Law, HB 2102. Governor Abbott signed this into place to protect Texas homeowners. Before then, insurance company would say, hey, go get 3 bids. And then you go get your 3 bids and you get a high, medium, and a low, for siding, for roofing, for your fence, all the different trades. So now you're a general contractor. You have to quit your job to manage this ordeal. But you get these 3 bids and you bring them to the insurance company. Which one does the insurance company pick?
Probably the low.
Wow. Genius. Yeah. Blue's Clues. Like no one ever gets that wrong. And what that did was it drove down prices. And so all the dodgy contractors
drove down prices and quality.
Because you can only drive price down so far. And so what the law stated, the short of it is that pricing is fixed in the state of Texas. Your contractor doesn't get to determine the price for the repairs. When, again, we're talking about an insurance claim, contractor doesn't determine the price. The insurance company actually doesn't determine the price either. There are third-party pricing services. There's 2. Xactimate and Symbility are the 2 big ones. But in the state of Texas, all insurance companies have to put the pricing to them. So, and it changes every month, and it's different for different zip codes and neighborhoods or whatever have you. But there's fair market pricing dictated essentially by the government. And so what your insurance adjuster is supposed to do is go and make a shopping list of all the damage that's on your property. And this is why, again, it's a multi-red flag. Is the person who is now showing up to advocate for you and checking that shopping list of everything that's broken on your property, not just the roof, the siding, the fence, maybe some...
the condenser, the gutters.
Your window, everything on your property. Who is checking that list twice on your behalf? Right? And knowing, hey, what should be included and what not. Now, once that list is settled, your advocate, again, your Hague engineer, is going to agree that list with the insurance company. And then that list gets uploaded to the software and the price spits out. And so... And this is where the red flag, this is something to look for. If someone's offering you an estimate when it's clearly storm damage, right? If you just want to upgrade, you want to get a metal roof because you think it looks, clean and looks cool, that's a different story. But if there's a storm, and this is an insurance claim, someone who offers you an estimate, that's an immediate red flag because they can't determine the price.
Yeah.
Right? If it's too low, which we'll talk about, they're helping you commit insurance fraud, whether you know it or not. So now you're in a pickle. That's felony insurance fraud. And if it's above what the pricing services allow, well, then they're just price gouging you.
Okay.
Right? And so that should never happen.
Okay. So talk about putting you in a pickle.
Yeah, sure.
And then also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know when I spoke to that seller, she said, yeah, they told me they would pay my deductible for me.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So this is part of where that law, that Texas deductible law since September 2019, the other side of it, and they did two major things to say. One, prices are fixed essentially by these government third parties. Mm-hmm. The other thing it said to say, hey, homeowners, you have to pay your deductible. It's part of your premium. Yeah. If you're not paying your deductible, you're committing insurance fraud, right? Because you're not supposed to profit off of an insurance claim.
Right.
That's felony insurance fraud. I think it's more jail time. It's more jail time than anyone wants to do.
Mortgage fraud is more jail time than like many severe things.
Yeah, exactly. So again, it's in line with that. You don't want to do it. And if you didn't know, it's not going to keep you out of jail.
Right.
Right. So you have to pay your deductible.
Yeah.
But if it's a weather-related instance outside of doing upgrades, like upgrading your shingles or your vents or something extra, right? You should pay your deductible, not a penny more, not a penny less.
Okay.
Right. And so anyone offering to rebate you or any kind of smoke and mirrors, like again, the auditors, it's a major red flag. All you should pay is your deductible, not a penny more, not a penny less. Now, it is a good time to consider upgrades.
Right.
And that's something else, but you shouldn't pay more. And sometimes homeowners end up paying more because their roofer, contractor, or whoever doesn't have the skill set to go back to the insurance company and explain why it's what. So we spend a lot of time. We have a whole team that just essentially not so much negotiating, but in informing the insurance adjusters. Like, hey, this project's more complex than at first sight. We have to take out this underlayment. There's this, there's that. A lot of contractors, again, this is why you want to look for one that has RCAT license and the Hague Engineer cert. Because they have that expertise to go to your insurance company and say, hey, insurance company, you have to pay more. This is what the project scope is to do it properly.
Right.
The homeowner shouldn't have to pay out of pocket in addition to their deductible. So that happens as well. So again, deductible, not a penny more, not a penny less. If any contractor is telling you anything other than that, oh, well, insurance didn't pay enough, so you're going to have to come out of pocket. Right. And they love to pull that on the unsuspecting old ladies. Yep. Like, it's terrible. We see it all the time.
Yeah, we have had our fair share of dealing with insurance. We recently had a situation where we were we were on the list side. We were under contract. We were 2 weeks away from closing, and then that hailstorm came. You know which one I'm talking about? Uh-huh. Insanity. And so, and this will be another topic that I'll do. But having a great insurance company to work alongside the roofer and the contractor, that is imperative too. But I think it's really important to point out how to choose a great roofer.
Yeah. And a lot of those things go into how to pick a good contractor. And one that can actually be full service, and that's part of why Hive started in roofing and then moved to complete home services, is because we had the skill set, we had the Hague Engineering cert, and it's like, well, okay, we actually know best whoever you pick to do these other trades. Well, you have to know how to communicate that to the insurance company, because you should never be out of pocket more than your deductible, but you do have to pay your deductible. Yeah.
Well, and this kind of, I think we can wrap it up with this thought is, I have always believed, do it right the first time or you'll do it again.
Exactly.
So,
and it's always more expensive. If you can't afford to do it right the first time, what makes why do you have enough money to do it twice?
Right. And so I see that whether it's with choosing a contractor, whether it's roofing, whether it's real estate, whatever, do it right. Just do it right the first time. Or you'll end up paying more.
I agree with that. We support that.
Yeah.
We support this
message. All right. Well, thank you very much. Chris, go ahead and give your contact information in case anybody wants to reach you.
My pleasure. Hive Roofing and Solar and Hive Home Services, 512-409-0913.
Brought to you by T. Kerr Property Group.